Mike from Metro Trails, back with some more history. This is one of my favorite lines to walk, but it's looking bad, and there are a lot of opportunities here. This was the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad's old main line, built as the Warren Railroad in 1856. It was the first railroad to cross Warren County. Surprises some people because when you go to the Washington Yard, the line is still in place. It goes east-west between like Hackettstown through Washington to Phillipsburg, and that was originally the Morris and Essex Railroad, which was extended through this area in 1866. It wasn't part of the Lackawanna initially. That didn't happen until 1868. Originally, the main line came up from the Central Railroad of New Jersey in Hampton, and then north through Washington. And after 1868, when it sort of absorbed the Morris and Essex through lease into its system, the main line went east through Hackettstown there and down to Hampton, became a secondary. So this is state parkland. There's no signs on it. It's kind of obscure that it's parkland, but it's a huge opportunity. The way I see it, the first Metro Trails hike took place here. We walked the entire old right-of-way from Portland, Pennsylvania back to Washington, and it was in lieu of having a birthday party. We had a roving party, which kind of became the model for the hikes. So anyway, it was the Warren Railroad, Lackawanna Railroad main line, 1856, and it remained the main line until the completion of the New Jersey cutoff in 1911. You see how wide this is. This was double tracked through, but even here, there was a third track. In fact, there's still a bit of rail in place if you go back this way a bit. And back there's a couple pipes you might have seen. There's actually test wells back there. Land up in here used to be American Can, and there was some illegal dumping going on back in here. I was here when they dug the wells. My old friend Bob Bodenstein, and I were walking this one day when they were here digging it. Just happened to come through. So the reason this bit of right-of-way is so important isn't just because it's this emotional thing for me, because I walked this all the time. It's what I consider to be the most valuable pedestrian connection in Warren County. I'm still the chairman of the Board of Recreation for Warren County, and I would like to I'd like to see something happen here, and I'll show you a little more detail on that in a minute. Some major drainage problems back here that have been for years. They keep getting worse. The line here was abandoned in 1970, and it being a cut and no longer maintained obviously means drainage issues. So that's one of the toughest things about somehow developing this, because this fills in with water pretty badly. So, coming up ahead, as we're getting a little bit out of the deeper part of the cut, to the left of us is the Warren Hills Regional High School. I used to walk this right-of-way home from school, sometimes on a daily basis. It was clear. In fact, it was clear not only here, it was clear straight onto the Oxford Tunnel. There's a missing bridge at Jackson Valley Road that was removed maybe around 1990 or something. I remember walking across it with my grandfather when I was little. But, see this fence coming up here on the left? That was a big bone to pick for me, because when they built the new football field across the street from the high school, that used to be a big circular ATV track. I understand we can't really have that, but right here, this was one of the paths. And there was another one over here. You used to be able to walk right down to the right of way, and I would walk it home. So it was about 2.5 miles, and I had, especially halfway through my junior and into senior year, I had something going on every day. I was in everything I could make the time for. So I walked through here all the time. See it growing over as bad as it is now is really such a disappointment, especially since it's a park property now. There's illegal dumping everywhere. There's just, go to all over these properties. There's stuff dropped down the slope. You used to be able to walk to a path down from Green Street, which would be a great access for a trail, but it's just steep going down. Now you can't even really get down it safely because there's so many leaves have been dumped over the side. So how exactly to go about this, I don't even know now. So here you can see some of the school fields over here. There's the bleachers. This is multi-floor rows like crazy here. So now we're almost at grade with the field on the left. So it'd be a good connection. The state owns the right-of-way, not all the way to Oxford Tunnel, but pretty close to it. Now the big thing is, right over here, top of the slope right here, is the police station. Now you might be able to see what I'm getting at. Warren Hills High School, police station, state parkland. So one of the ways I would go if I was visiting, let's say, a friend up on residential estates or something, I would walk the path over here. It came in, another path came in right here, right across the right of way. I'm gonna go around these bushes. I would come up here. And it's still, even though it's overgrown like crazy, it's still rutted in. Right here it is. Washed out a bit, but there was a couple paths that came right through here. And at the time, the police station was Bauer, Schumann, and Welsh Insurance. So we have an opportunity here to formalize this trail connection. We've got Board of Education land, municipal land for the police, and state park land. If they were to punch a trail through, you could have more parking for the high school, because parking has been a major problem since I went to Warren Hills. You got a good grade, you could just bring it down slightly here. Over to the high school. That would be more access for football games. You know how people get rowdy at football games right now? If the police have to answer a call, they got to get on Route 31 north, deal with the traffic light over at Jackson Valley Road, make a left, and then make their way to wherever they're having a problem. They build the trail here wide enough, you would be able to get a vehicle right down here. There was an unfortunate death at a football game a few years back. Emergency services could get in there quickly and easily. So it would serve a major functional benefit. It would serve a safety benefit. It would serve a recreational benefit. And it would serve a historic interpretation benefit on the old railroad grade. This, to me, The Lackawanna main line should be a regional trail as it is. There's all these trails going through. This is the most interesting one. It's got the most interesting terrain. It's got the most interesting features. It's also probably got the highest price tag because we've got the tunnels. And I've said in the other videos, I've said on many other posts, and to anybody that'll listen, it's a ticking time bomb. These tunnels have to be addressed, and it's going to cost money. You can't really destroy them if they're permanent waterways. So now's the time to do it. But right here, this is a good starting point. At this time, only the piece in Oxford that's paved, that's the only section of the old Lackawanna main line that's a formal trail. But this can be done. It would take a little bit of doing. You got some good grade stuff here that could be used. If you had to switch back it down to make it ADA compliant, you probably have enough land to do it. But just to begin with, let's do something right here. I brought it up to the Washington Police Department, several of the officers there over the years, and they all thought this was a great idea. But everybody has to be on board. I talked to the Washington borough manager about it. He liked the idea. I've talked to council members that thought it would be a good idea. I remember when Chuck Lilly was on the force, I remember talking to him about it. I know he follows the posts here, and thought it'd be a cool idea. It needs a lot of work, so a little more work than I can put together. When I went to school here, and for years after, there was a spot where the water comes flowing through up here, and I used to come through with a stick and clean out the drains. But that has now rutted so deeply, it's well beyond what I'm capable of doing. And plus, with my little son, I can't take the time out to do all that kind of work. When he gets a little bigger, I'll be out here and showing him the ropes. But right now, not really in the cards for me. So anyway, this is it. This is what I think is the most valuable pedestrian connection in Warren County that should happen. Sorry we don't have a nicer day to show it. It's kind of a gloomy thing right now, but a lot of people would benefit from this. And I had this idea probably 20 years ago. It should happen. As soon as the police station moved over here, I was bringing it up. But I come across as crazy, and people don't like to listen to me too much. But that's changing a bit. So, what do you think? Let's do this. Who has to get on board? I like it. That's it, though. That's the old Warren Railroad, Lackawanna Main Line. Whole thing should be a trail. I have several videos on several segments of it. Go back and check them out. I hope you find it interesting. And always, thank you for watching.